What I want to talk with you today about is the topic of living in Israel and answering, is it safe? If you haven't done it yet, go ahead and subscribe, hit the thumbs up on this video even before it starts. First thing we should do is talk about why you're considering to move to Israel. And you're thinking about moving to Israel for just a few reasons. One of them could be because you're Jewish and you're thinking about making Aliyah. The other reason could be because, well, you fell in love and your partner is Israeli and you're thinking about moving to Israel. That's why I moved here. The third reason could be because you are running from something. Meaning a situation, a circumstance that you do not find pleasurable for your future, and so you're thinking about moving to Israel. And the fourth reason is you might have family here. Those are the reasons why you're thinking about moving to Israel, and you're wondering, quite normally, is it safe? So let's get into it. So let's get one thing clear so you understand a little bit about me. I am originally from Los Angeles. So you're asking somebody, is Israel safe? This person is from Los Angeles. And I was born and raised in LA in not the nicest neighborhood. And when I was in my early 20s, I moved to Las Vegas, Nevada, which is probably not the safest place in the world either. So everything in this video is coming from that perspective. Born and raised in Los Angeles, lived in Las Vegas for a few years as well. Let's move forward. Let's answer the question, is it safe? Yes. Let's talk about why. Compared to the other places that I've lived, compared to other things that I've experienced, there is less crime in Israel. There's less gangs, there's less shootings, there's less rapes, there's less burglaries and robberies. There's a lot less crime in Israel in general, for sure. Compared to the United States of America, there's less crime, which makes it safer. You can actually see it, you can actually feel it out on the streets because you're seeing a completely different energy. People are not as afraid for their health and well-being, their safety in Israel. You see young women walking alone quite late at night, young children walking around the city. Even the news, the television news, has to come up with completely different bad news to give you. It's interesting because in the US, they always have bad news to share about a plethora of crimes. In Israel, they have to come up with really small stories to kind of maintain that negative effect that the news has on us. Don't get me started on that. But I'll tell you, even on the news, you can see there is much less crime reported. And what you're thinking about, most likely, is the idea of war. Yes, war in Israel. And you're wondering, is it safe if there's a war going on? I'll tell you this fact. Whenever you have heard of a war happening in Israel, very, very, very few civilians ever get hurt. Unfortunately, of course, the soldiers, those poor young kids on both sides, early 20s, late teens, early 30s, caught in a conflict, those are the people that get hurt. But as far as a civilian, which is what you're going to be, definitely if you're living in the center of the country. Really, if you're living in the center of the country, you won't see or feel very much of anything that has to do with war. When one's going on quite close, you will never ever feel it. You won't experience any bombs or shootings or things like that. No, you will never experience it. Not in the center of the country. However, yes, the energy does get tense during wars. People have a feeling because their friends and family who are in the military, well, those people are exposed to potential violence. And so that makes sense for the tenseness in the country to go up. And so I won't tell you Israel's a very relaxed place. Israel's quite tense. But I'll tell you this, in conclusion, Israel is a very safe place. And there's a lot of tense places in the world. So for sure, definitely check it on your box. Israel is a safe place. If you have any questions, leave your comments down below. Let me know if you need anything at all. It's always great to hear from you. Hit thumbs up on this video, and you guys take care and subscribe for more stuff.